Damian Robert Nesta, Jr. Gong Marley, born July 21, 1978, is a Jamaican reggae musician. The second youngest child of Bob Marley, he is the recipient of 4 Grammy Awards. Damian has approximated a net worth of $20 million. Early life. Marley is the youngest son of legendary reggae singer Bob Marley. He is the only child born to Marley and Cindy Breakspear, a Jamaican jazz singer and crowned Miss World 1976. Like several of Bob's children, Damian was born out of wedlock and outside of Bob's marriage to singer Rita Marley. After seeing the film Damien, Omen 2, which is about the coming of the Antichrist, one of Bob's last requests in Germany was to have Damian's name changed. Damian being a devil, it was inappropriate for him as a Rastafarian to have a child with that name. Bob said, and Damian's name was later changed. Damian was 2 years old when his father died. His nickname, Junior Gong, is derived from his father's nickname of Tough Gong. Career. At the age of 13, Marley formed a musical group by the name of the Shepherds, which included the daughter of Freddie McGregor and son of Third World's Cat Core. The group opened the 1992 Reggae Sunsplash Festival. The band fell apart in the early 1990s, and Damian started his solo career. With the backing of his father's label, Tough Gong, he released his 1996 debut album, Mr. Marley, which surprised many who were unaccustomed to hearing a Marley DJing rather than singing. 8. Marley released his second studio album, Halfway Tree. The name Halfway Tree comes from his mother, Cindy Breakspear, being from the rich part of town, and his father, Bob Marley, coming from the poor part of town, thus him being a tree halfway in between the rich world and poor world. Additionally, Halfway Tree is a well-known landmark that marks the cultural center of Halfway Tree. The clock tower that stands where the historical eponymous cotton tree once stood is featured prominently behind Marley on the cover of the album. The album was released on September 11, 2001, and received the 2002 Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album. It was co-produced by Damian Marley and his brother Stephen Marley, who had also produced Damian's debut album, Mr. Marley. Marley released his third studio album, Welcome to Jamrock, which was released on September 12, 2005 in the United States and September 13, 2005 in the United Kingdom. The album sold 86,000 copies in its first week of release and was eventually certified gold after selling 500,000 copies in the United States. Damian's half-brother, Stephen Marley, was a producer and co-writer of the hugely successful song of the same name. The lyrics to the single Welcome to Jamrock, which was performed over a rhythm produced by Sly and Robbie for Ine Kamoze some 20 years earlier, centered around poverty, politics, and crime in Jamaica. While the single was controversial at home over its perceived negative viewpoint of the island, many praised the content of the song. Dr. Clinton Hutton, professor at the University of the West Indies, said of the single, Jamrock uses the icon of the inner city, of alienation, of despair, of prejudice, but of hope, a Jamaican identity, to remind us of the fire of frustration, the fire of creativity, the fire of warning to open up our eyes and look within to the life we are living. And still some of us don't want to hear, and to look and say enough is enough. The single reached number 13 on the UK singles chart and number 55 on the US Billboard Hot 100 chart. It was also number 100 on the top 100 songs of the decade listing by Rolling Stone. Other notable singles from the album include The Master Has Come Back, Road to Zion featuring Nas, and Khaki Suit featuring Bounty Killer and Eek Mouse. At the 2006 Grammy Awards, he won Best Reggae Album and Best Urban/Alternative Performance for Welcome to Jamrock. He is the only Jamaican reggae artist in history to win 2 Grammy Awards on the same night. He is also the only reggae artist to win in the Best Urban/Alternative Performance category at the Grammy Awards. In 2008, he made an appearance on singer Mariah Carey's E=MC² album as a featured artist on the album track Cruise Control. At the 2009 Grammy Awards, news of a collaborative album between Marley and Nas was announced when Nas told MTV reporters, "Right now, I'll tell you first, I'm working on an album with Damian Marley. We try to build some schools in Africa with this one, and trying to build empowerment. We're trying to show love and stuff with this album. So, the records, all about really the hood and Africa also as well. On May 17th, 2010, Marley released Distant Relatives, a collaborative album with Nas. The album title refers not only to the bond between the artists, but the connection to their African ancestry, which inspired the album both musically and lyrically. They have previously collaborated on Road to Zion, on Marley's Welcome to Jamrock album. The album joins two different flavors of music with Marley's dub rock aesthetic and Nas' flow. Damian and Steven produced much of the album. The proceeds of this album will go to building schools in the Congo. The album debuted at number 5 on the U.S. Billboard 200 chart with first-week sales of 57,000 copies. IT serves as Nas's 10th top 10 album and Marley's second top 10 album in the United States. The album also entered at number 4 on Billboard's digital albums and at number 1 on its R&B/hip-hop albums, rap albums, and reggae albums charts. Internationally, Distant Relatives attained some chart success. It entered at number 33 on the European Top 100 Albums chart. In the United Kingdom, it debuted at number 30 on the UK Albums chart and at number 4 on the R&B Albums chart. In Canada, the album entered at number 9 on the Top 100 Albums chart. In Germany, it debuted at number 38 on the Media Control chart. The first single, As We Enter, was released on iTunes on February 23, 2010. It peaked at number 10 on the iTunes hip-hop/rap charts and number 41 on the iTunes music charts. The single debuted at number 39 on the UK singles chart. At a sold-out panel discussion on the African diaspora and its relation to music, sponsored by National Geographic, Damian and Stephen Marley and Nas were among the several hip-hop and reggae musicians voicing their solidarity. The discussion focused on the collaborations between artists of the two genres and highlighted the Distant Relatives project. The existence of Super Heavy was secret until May 2011. Mick Jagger, English musician and the lead vocalist of rock band The Rolling Stones, announced its formation on May 20, 2011. Super Heavy was Dave Stewart's idea. Inspired by the sounds washing into his home in St. Anne's Bay, Jamaica, Stewart urged Jagger to fuse their sound with that of Indian orchestras. 38. Stewart and Jagger had mutual liking for Indian orchestrations. Thus, A.R. Rahman was added to the supergroup, as well as British singer Joss Stone. The name of the band is said to be inspired by Muhammad Ali. The group began recording their self-titled debut album in early 2009 at a studio in Los Angeles. They recorded about 35 hours of music. The album was previewed at Jim Henson Studios, Los Angeles, on June 30, 2011. The band played 8 of the recorded songs at the event. Miracle Worker was released on iTunes as the album's lead single on 7 July 2011. It is a reggae song performed by Marley, Stone, and Jagger. The single entered at number 195 on the UK singles chart. The music video was released on YouTube on August 12, 2011. Directed by Stewart and filmed at Paramount Studios in Los Angeles. The video features all 5 members of the band. Satyameva Jayatha, the national motto of India, which literally translates as Truth Alone Triumphs, was released as the second single from the album on August 9, 2011, a week before India's Independence Day, on August 15th. Composed by Rahman to have an Indian feel, Jagger sings in Sanskrit on the song, which also features Stewart, Stone, and Marley. The song premiered exclusively on Radio Mirchi 98.3 FM on August 9th across 22 Indian cities, and Tata Docomo is set to simultaneously promote the song and the album on mass media. Beautiful People reached number 64 on the Dutch Single Top 100 chart. Damian also worked with electronic artist Skrillex on a song called Make It Bun Dem in 2012. This song also appears in the 2012 game Far Cry 3. Affairs of the Heart was a massive hit in Jamaica, topping the reggae charts. Damian Marley released his 4th studio album, Stony Hill, in July 2017. Its first single, Nail Pawn Cross, was released in August 2016. The album won the Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album at the 60th Annual Grammy Awards. Marley has described his music as dancehall and reggae. I've noticed people trying to separate the two of them, he continues. It's Jamaican culture in general. I don't try to classify or separate. Distant relatives fused hip-hop and reggae musical elements. Marley and Nas also incorporated samples from African music into the album. The album's lyrical content heavily revolves around themes concerning Africa, from ancestry and poverty, with social commentary of the United States and Africa. The track, Count Your Blessings, reflects on the plight of Africa. Real estate. Damian Jr. Gong Marley, son of Bob Marley, owns a $5.5 million Toluca Lake mansion with a meditation garden, a $3.1 million Beverly Hills house, and a condo in West Hollywood. Jamaica. While he owns properties elsewhere, Marley considers Jamaica his home and often refers to Kingston as his home base. Like, comment, share, subscribe.